Alice, and I'm here with another episode of Book Chat. I'd like to apologise for this being up a day later, but I did something called Open Farm Sunday with my kids this week, so we got to go and stroke some baby cows, and it was very, very exciting seeing the way that farms work, but it meant that by the end of the day I was way too exhausted to even think about filming, let alone to actually do it. But it's still going to have the same amount of news packed in as normal, if not even more news, because it's been a really, really hectic week for announcements. So much so that some of the things I was going to talk to you about are kind of completely irrelevant already because they've passed. So we will forget about those and we will just carry on with our days. And so, without further ado, let's start talking with Fairy Loot, because there's been a lot going on with Fairy Loot this week. They've announced that the sale date has changed for Hearts That Cut by Kika Hatsupolo. This is the sequel to Threads That Bind, which was featured last year. The early access sale is now going to be on July 18th, and the general sale will be on July 19th. That's because they're having website maintenance done. I'm hoping that it means that their sales will run a bit more smoothly, but I don't know exactly what is being maintained. But it'll be worth keeping an eye out and seeing if things become a little bit easier as the months go on, because it's been a tricky time with Fairy Loot recently. One such example was the When the Moon Hatched sale. This is the kind of big debut release of the year by Sarah A. Parker. Fairy Loot's signed copies sold out so quickly that they managed to get an allocation of unsigned copies from the publisher. They announced those at about 9 o'clock in the morning, and then they went on sale at 1 p.m, which was a very quick turnaround. I think it probably means that they already had it lined up, because they always say that they need to kind of talk to the publishers and get it sorted out before they can release anything. So for it to be the next day, I think they did already have that sorted out, and they just didn't know how big the demand was going to be for it. As of the time of filming, which is about 10:30 on Monday night in the UK, there are still unsigned copies available on the UK Trove. I'm not sure about the American Trove, but if you are looking at getting a copy of this and you hear this in the video, I'd recommend running, seeing if they're still available, and if not, hopefully you'll at least be able to find like a more reasonably priced resale copy if it's an unsigned one compared to the signed ones. Also in Fairy Loot news, they revealed the theme for their July YA box, which is Tale as Old as Time. The featured book is going to be Sleep Like Death by Kaylin Bayron. I have already mentioned this as Autumn Book Reads on Instagram figured out that it was going to be the book based off of their aesthetic reel a few weeks ago. But definitely sounds like it's going to be an interesting book. The July adult theme was also revealed, which is Living Legends. It looks like this one's going to be The Night Ends with Fire by KX Song. And the July romantasy theme is Monstrous Secrets, and it looks like that's going to be The Wren in the Holly Library by K.A. Lind. Moving on to Camp Illumicrate, the Evernight July theme was revealed, and it looks like it's going to be Monica Kim's The Eyes Are the Best Part. I am really glad that I don't get Evernight, because I don't like stuff with eyes. So I'm glad that I'm missing out on that one. But it will be interesting to see what the special editions look like, because in my head I'm just imagining like the stenciled edges with loads of like piles of eyeballs. So I'm hoping that it's not quite that gruesome. Illumicrate also revealed their July theme, which is going to be Magical Menagerie. The book that's going to be featured in there is The Phoenix Keeper by S.A. McLean. They have also revealed that they're going to be shipping the July box in August because of the release date of The Phoenix Keeper. So if you're expecting your box early, I'm sad to say that it will not be happening. The May boxes were also delayed, so there's a good chance you'll get like June in June, May at the end of June, and then July in August. But Illumicrate are normally pretty good with people keeping people updated. So if you are subscribed and expecting any of those boxes, then I would just keep an eye on your email inbox and see if any further updates do come through. They've also revealed that this box is going to be featuring a multi-fandom reading journal, so I am a little bit sad to be missing out on it. I am feeling the FOMO because I do really like Illumicrate's reading journals, and I will definitely be watching some unboxings when they arrive for people because I want to see how beautiful it is. Moving on to Owlcrate, they've announced that they're going to be doing a special edition set of Powerless by Lauren Roberts. All of the details are TBA. They've just put up like a graphic with to be announced on. So keep an eye out for that. It's good timing because Reckless is going to be published in a couple of weeks, I think. Maybe this week? But if you are somebody who enjoyed Lauren Roberts' first book, then it might be worth keeping an eye out on this. And there's also a chance that Fairyloot might be doing it because they posted a reel that had roses are red, violets are blue, here's a hint just for you, or something like that. And it had a quote that I'm pretty sure is from Powerless on there, where it says you don't need powers to be, and then I think the last word is powerful. But we'll have to wait and see more information on that one because they haven't announced anything else on it yet. But I wouldn't be too surprised if Fairyloot did pick it up as well because it does seem extremely overhyped. I say overhyped, I guess fairly hyped because I'm not hearing that many people talking about it, but I didn't personally enjoy it all that much. Like, it was good. It was like a solid 3-star, I think, maybe. But I'm remaining hopeful that the rest of the series will get better as it goes on. There's been a whole list of stuff for the Broken Binding this week, so I'm just going to reel this off for you because it's so much. First of all, they participated in the cover reveal for The Company of the Wolf by David Ragg. This is being released on August the 29th. They then revealed their edition of The Scar by China Miéville. This is being offered to people who purchased Perdido Street Station from them. So if you are somebody who ordered that from them, then you'll need to keep an eye out on your inbox. And then I think they might be putting some up in the shop if they've got any left once they've been like bundled up. But just look out for more information on this one because they've only really put like a picture of the cover and then like the stenciled edges that they're doing. They've also announced a special edition of Horror Movie by Paul Tremblay. The general sale for this one is on June 16th, so it's a very short turnaround. On June 23rd, they have another general sale coming up for The Black Tongue Thief and The Daughter's War by Christopher Bumbling. So really not giving us a lot of time to prepare our wallets. And then last but not least, on the 30th of June, they have Between Dragons and Their Wrath by Devin Madsen. I'd never heard of this one, but their edition does look really gorgeous. I do not have the money for it, but I'm sure some people are going to be getting it just because it looks pretty. The UK cover for January's by Olivia Blake was revealed. This is a short story collection, and Waterstones have also put up a special stenciled and sprayed signed edition that they're doing as well. As far as I'm aware, it's still available, so it might be worth, if you are an Olivia Blake fan, going and checking that out. But if not, they do have like a little notify me button on the Waterstones website, so you can always join the waitlist for it if it is out of stock at the time of filming. There was a very big prequel announcement, which was Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins. This is coming out on March 18th, 2025, and it is going to be telling Haymitch's story of his Hunger Games. And I think somebody said that it's also going to be the Hunger Games that Katniss's parents are in. So I've only read the first book in the Hunger Games series. I don't really know a lot about these, and I do need to finish off the rest of them. I will try to do that by the time this comes out because I failed by the time the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes came out. But it's really interesting because Haymitch was one of the standout characters when I first read the book, and it'll be nice to see a little bit more from him. We also had title reveals for the two Twin Crowns spin-off novels. The authors did say that the titles are kind of spoilery for the events of the third book. I'm not getting any spoilers from them at all, so I don't know if I'm just dense or because I haven't read book 2, I just don't understand them. But I will tell you those now. In April 2025, Catherine Webber will be releasing Captain of Fates. And then in January 2026, Catherine Doyle will be releasing King of Beasts. So instead of writing the books together, they're each writing one of the books, but they're obviously still set in the same universe. I think it's a really interesting way of doing it, having the two authors going from collaborating on the same novel to collaborating, like writing their own individual novels within the world. It fascinates me, and it'll be nice to see how they're received when they're released. Last but not least, there was a bit of a controversy surrounding the Bulgarian cover reveal for Cinderella is Dead by Kaylin Bayron. As you can see, the cover is extremely whitewashed and it is not at all representative of the contents of the story. Kaylin Bayron did make a statement on Twitter about it. She said, "Just so we're clear, nobody on our team approved that other cover. We're confused too, because usually if there's a major change, we get eyes on it prior to it going public. That didn't happen. We all saw it same time everyone else did." So it'll be interesting to see if they can get that rectified, because that's really ridiculous. And that's all of the news that we have for you on Book Chat this week. On the reading side of things, it's been, touch wood, a good week. In that I finished The Leftovers by Tom Perrotta. I ended up giving it, I think, 3 stars. I really loved it at the beginning. And then I realised that it was just really going nowhere. I'm sorry if you've read this book and you really like it, but I just didn't really get a lot from it. I think that it's an interesting look at how you can have a great concept and then twist it into something completely different, which works for some people but doesn't work for others. Because at the beginning of the book, there is this rapture-like event where like half of the population, like 1 million people, I'm not quite sure how much it is, all these people disappear and people believe it may have been the rapture. Cults spring up, people leave their families, people lose their families, people are grieving, and there's a lot going on. But Tom Perrotta focuses very intensely on the relationships between the characters. So the 4 kind of viewpoints that you get through this book are Kevin, who is the mayor, Laurie, his estranged wife, Jill, their daughter, and Tom, their son. Tom? I don't feel as though that's right. Definitely Tom. We're going to say Tom. And I just feel as though there's some interesting plot lines that are going on in the background, but those aren't focused on enough for me. So there's a couple of instances where like a body is found and it's just brushed over and kind of forgotten about within a couple of pages, and that becomes very relevant in one of the last chapters of the book, but it just comes out of nowhere and it's at such a breakneck speed that you can't really appreciate the build up to it. And I think if there'd been less of the jumping around between the 4 characters, it might have felt a bit more impactful, but instead it almost felt like the stories that I was really interested in were drowning in all of like the chaff. So not the most successful read, but it was nice to finish a book because it's been a while since I've done that. And I also have nearly, I'm just about to start the epilogue on More Than a Best Friend by Emma R. Alban, and I do really recommend this one. It's a lot more adult than I thought it was going to be. Like, there's some spicy scenes in here, and I hadn't anticipated that because the cover makes it look so YA, and I knew it was sapphic, but I didn't know if it was, tame fade to black, and it is not. There is some spiciness in this book. And I've thoroughly enjoyed it, to be honest with you. The pacing's gotten a bit weird towards the second half. So you find that the couple get together and then events kind of pull them apart a little bit. And that section feels really, really long. It's a slow build up until they actually get together. And I found the beginning quite hard to get through. And I did nearly DNF it. They were playing croquet and for some reason my brain just couldn't care. But I pushed through. I persevered through the croquet and then I read half of the book the next day because the pace was so much better. But it feels like whereas you had that slow build and then quite nice pacing, the end just feels like it's trying to cram too much in all at once. So I think I'm probably going to end up sitting on a 4-star with this one. It's going to depend on how the epilogue goes. But I am really excited for the sequel, which is called You're the Problem, It's You. Again, another Taylor Swift reference. Also on my Taylor Swift Reading Challenge list to tick off. But this one isn't out until August 27th, so I will be keeping an eye out and hopefully getting a copy of that and reading it as soon as I can. Because I think I might have figured out which one of the characters is being followed in that one. Because there's a background character called Bobby in this book who's really funny and he just comes alive on the page and I'd really like to see more from him. So I'm hoping he's going to be the main character in the second book, but we're just going to have to wait and see. Other than that, haven't managed to read much else. I started Taylor Swift Era by Era by, I believe, Caroline Sullivan, which is a non-fiction biography about Taylor. This was released on Friday, I think. But I was granted access to a copy early through NetGalley, so I'm slowly chugging my way through this. I'm thoroughly in my debut era at the moment, but quickly speeding towards Fearless, so I'll let you know where I am next week. I've got a feeling this is going to be a really quick read, and I don't think it's going to take me the full week to get it done, but it's just going to depend on how it's structured, because at the moment it's very much supposed to be chronological, so we're starting at the beginning, but there's a lot of links towards things that happen later in Taylor's career, and I feel as though it's gonna take a lot of my head to get around the jumping from one bit to another. But once I can fully digest the style of the way that this biography has been written, I think I'm gonna really enjoy it. And it's obviously something that I already know a lot about, so I can't really get repeaty brain or get a reading slump on this one. So hopefully that means that the reading is back on track. I think I've got 5 books to catch up reads for my Goodreads goal. So I'm racing against time on that one, but I'll let you know how it goes. This has been Book Chat. I hope that you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please give it a like, and if you'd like to subscribe, we'd be super duper grateful. I'm Alyce, and this is the Bumbling Blogger, and we'll see you in a few days with a very, very exciting video, because on Thursday at 9 o'clock, something else I probably should have mentioned in the Book Chat section, the YA Book Prize shortlist is being revealed, and this is the beginning of the season for me. I will read all of these and I will pick my winner, and it definitely won't win because I'm cursed, but I'm gonna have a great time, and I've got such a strong list of my predicted shortlist that I'm feeling really optimistic about it. And so we'll probably be posting a shortlist video over the next couple of days before the official announcement. So you'll get our predictions, and then you'll get the announcement and our reaction to that, and then hopefully we'll be reading those throughout the summer with you as well. So that's something else that's very exciting. But yeah, thank you for watching. We'll see you soon. Bye.